Hello everyone, welcome to another Geo-Detective. This time I'm joined by an assistant. The Investigoblin will be assisting me. And our first picture here is one that we found. It's one that's made the rounds on the internet before. I recall seeing it, and we're going to try our hand at finding where it comes from. So the Investigoblin here, I've decided to give him a bit of a head start. I'm talking through how the process works and where to begin and troubleshooting some tools. My preferred image viewer for this kind of work is in-frame view, just because there's a lot of bells and whistles and it's fairly easy to operate. I make a couple of custom changes to it, but very few, and I just find it's the best image viewer for my workflow, I guess. So we're getting started here. This picture comes from a post a long time ago, a couple of years now, where these two gentlemen snuck a picture of themselves in a fake McDonald's poster and hung it up on the wall. Once we actually get started on this, we're able to find this one pretty fast. It takes us less than 11 minutes total, and that's with, you know, us taking a while to get started and getting our tools going and all of that. And as a matter of fact, we found it right away. The first link we click happens to be the correct McDonald's here, but we even take a little bit of time to validate that, because McDonald's, they tend to look pretty similar regardless of where you are. So we wanted to make sure that we found the right one and not just another one that looks fairly similar. But as it turns out, there's very few McDonald's with this address, and the first one we find is, according to the image, almost exactly the one we're looking for. So after a little validation, eventually we decide that we have found the correct one on the first try here. We're taking our time with this one, but right behind that wall is where that picture was taken. Basically, there must be a table that they're sitting at with the former picture right there behind that wall. And I walk around it a little bit. I'm hoping that maybe I can get a peek through the windows. I mean, I'm assuming that the picture's been taken down. Perhaps it's still up. But I'm hoping I can peek through the window to see the table itself where they were sitting. But sadly, it was a bright day and the windows are tinted, so I can't see inside too well. I can see some things like the LCD screens that make up the menu, but really that's about it. But, you know, after verifying that there are no other McDonald's with that address and that fit our picture, we eventually agree that we found it on the first try here. Yeah, see, this is the other location that we found with a similar address. Or with a 2815 number in the address, but as you can see, it looks like a McDonald's, which is fairly similar to all of them, but it's clearly not the one we're looking for. "10 minutes and 53 seconds. That's 2815 Business Park Drive, Pearland, Texas. This next one is another picture that we saw making the rounds quite a number of years ago. Decided to give this one a shot as well. a photobombed proposal here. We got a dog in the background. The jogger that's coming through with a surprised look on his face, we noticed, is wearing a Milwaukee Brewers shirt. And so we figure, well, looks like a big city, and if it's a Brewers shirt, it's probably Milwaukee. So we call that substantive analysis. Those are substantive artifacts. And they're not always the most reliable, but a sports team on a shirt is known as a localism. And that's often a pretty good indication generally of where a picture was taken. So the Brewers are a fairly popular team, but they're from Milwaukee, and most major cities have their own team, and most people are going to be wearing that team's apparel in the city or in the area which supports them. So a localism, it cuts down geographically the likelihood of where a picture was taken. So we're thinking Milwaukee, and we see that there's water in the background. This is obviously some kind of a park, so we're looking for some kind of a water, whether that's a river or a lake or a pond or something, interposed between where the photographer would have been and the city skyline. There's very large skyscrapers in the background. So in Milwaukee, the largest body of water, of course, is going to be the Great Lake, but there's going to be a couple of smaller ones, and this is obviously not a Great Lake, or if it is, then it's a smaller location or an offshoot or something. And we find a couple of parks nearby that seem to fit the bill. Like there's downtown Milwaukee and a body of water, and then a place to stand. So, using those substantive clues, we start just walking around, pounding the pavement, checking to see where we are. Obviously, in this case, Investigoblin has given up a little bit frustrated with the lack of progress. So I'm pounding the pavement here. But soon enough, Investigoblin gets back to work. And we're looking. But the substantive clues are leading us astray in this case. Like, we can find locations that seem like they fit the bill, but when we actually get down there and start our walkabout, we just don't see any of the markers from the substantive analysis. So we can't find the right body of water, the right railing, the right buildings. The skyline just looks wrong. And so at this point, it starts to occur to me that if I can't find this body of water, maybe I can identify one of the buildings, because I know skyscrapers are, they're architectural marvels. Cities are very proud of them, and there's, some competition between major cities in terms of having the best or biggest skyscrapers. So I'm thinking if I can identify one of the buildings. Now, unfortunately, I'm not really an architecture sort of guy. I can identify maybe some of the major buildings that are in the world, the Empire State Building and so on. But I'm not going to be able to identify, most buildings just by sight. So I'm trying to search for those. That doesn't pan out because I think the angle is it's not capturing enough of the profile of the building. Then I try the people. Of course, I'm not seeing those. Then I try the whole image. This, I'm switching from substantive analysis to what's known as contextual analysis. So I'm trying to figure out what is the provenance of this picture? Where else has it been posted? How old is it? Has it appeared in any news articles or in other social media posts? And an image like this, when it goes viral, that's the nature of viral content. You're going to find lots and lots of posts, and I'm hoping that I can get information from those posts or trace it back to the original post, which might help me, glean some more information. And sure enough, I find news articles about this. The viral picture was picked up by traditional news media, and they did stories about it, and they interviewed the jogger. So there's a full story there of how he was running in the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago. So that localism of the shirt actually threw us off. In Chicago, we're expecting Cubs apparel, we're expecting White Sox apparel, but we're not really expecting the Brewers that much. They're the two teams, or the three teams, I suppose, are actually somewhat of rivals, right? So we don't expect that kind of thing. But That gets us the park. Now we just need to find exactly where in the park. And I think Investigoblin found it first, found the bridge based on the railing. And then I quickly head over there and yeah, we see this is indeed the bridge. We can even see that there's a crack in the pavement, so I'm able to find exactly which side of the crack and where the photographer was standing. Unfortunately, I can't get exactly on that spot, but we can even see in the original viral picture that there's a rock directly behind the woman. We even see the rocks, and this is definitely our location, so we found it. And so that location is the Lincoln Park Zoo across a bridge in Chicago, Illinois. And those are the two that we have for you here. So thank you, and thanks Investigoblin for your assistance, and we'll see you on the next one.